Hello Aries, and welcome to Embrace the Moon Tarot and your August 2017 reading. I know I'm a little late and I apologize for that, but better late than never. Let's see what we have for Aries. As a whole, I feel that Aries have expended quite a bit of energy. There's a lot of you that are entering or have already entered August a bit tired. You went full force, you burn a bunch of energy, and you're really feeling that depletion now. So let's see what we have for you. Current energy, physical, mental, heart, spiritual, strength, potential obstacle, recent past, potential future. So despite feeling as though you had spent quite a bit of your time and energy burning through a few things, I feel that there's some satisfaction. I see that the present energy has the Lover's card, which means despite all this hard work and despite everything that you may have burned through and all the energy that you have expended, there's a bit of self-satisfaction for having made the connection that you've made. You've recognized as a whole how everything that you've done now, you've recognized despite all of the energy that you have expended, some great connections has come as a result of it. You recognize that it wasn't for naught. So despite feeling tired and coming up into August feeling that there's been a lot of energy that you've expended and you've depleted your resources, there's some satisfaction with that because there's some real strong connections that has been made through this. And some of them are a result of what you've done and some of them weren't. Some of them were completely disconnected, but it is such a strong connection. And it's so powerful that there's a bit of a contentment that you're feeling surrounding this whatever this is, and it just gives you an overall feeling of feeling good. You're in a good place. A recognition that it may not be completely, it's not a permanent thing, whatever it is, it may be fleeting, but it's just powerful and it's really fueling that feeling of being at a good place. And like I said, the connections are just really good. They're very strong. They're very powerful. They're very uplifting. They're giving you a bit of some peace in some ways. But also, like I said, there is a little bit of a recognition. And I feel that those of you, whatever it is, it's fleeting. It's not something that's going to be permanent. And I'm not quite sure what it is. And I think it's because it's a connection that many Aries are going to be experiencing, but what makes the connections going to be different depending on the person that's involved. But many Aries are going to experience this very profound, powerful, peace-giving, contented connection. But also there's a recognition by many of you that know that this is just one facet of your life. So you're going to reside in the moment, but you also know that it's not going to carry you for the rest of your life either. In the recent past, we have an Ace of Pentacles. So there was new beginnings. And I feel that whatever this Ace of Pentacles represents within the physical realm, I don't think that this is entirely money. Some of you, it may have to do with money and career. But as a whole, in your physical realm, what you were doing, what makes up your world, whatever this new beginning you experienced recently, and I feel for many of you it was probably within the last 2 weeks, probably about more like probably the last week of July. So 2 weeks prior to me recording this, a lot of you, there was something that was refreshing and new that was brought to you, and this is what expended your energy. This is what you blazed through to accomplish. And I feel that it has to do and why you gave so much focus to it, actually, because it was going to provide you for new opportunities in your life. Now, this runs the gamut. Like I said, I don't feel like this is specifically has to do with finances, although some of you it could be career, but just for a lot of you, it has to do with making you feel like you have some solid footing in your life. Like you felt maybe before there were some areas of your life that weren't on good ground, they were kind of on shaky ground, and there was this new potential that came across your path, and you grabbed it by the horns and you ran with it and you blazed through it. And yes, you did deplete your energy as a result of it, because you went full force. You went you went after it like a lion, which is kind of not really your sign, but but you went after it. You know, you blazed through it with all of your energy, and a lot of you are feeling that has to do with the connection that you've made. Like I said, you've managed to find these shaky footings that you had as a result of whatever that was in your past. You found them, and you managed to blaze through this with this new opportunity and create a better stronghold, a better footing for yourself, a better foundation. So as a whole, it's really creating that feeling of more stability now than you had a couple weeks ago. You're feeling much more satisfied as a whole. And I feel like that's being represented in the physical realm. We have the Knight of Pentacles, and I feel that this is just representing how your thought process has changed regarding your life. Maybe before, a lot of you were kind of looking at your life and feeling like there was much of it that was not satisfying you, which is why when this opportunity came across your path, you took it and blazed forward with it because you wanted these changes that you saw that had potential in it, and they did. And because of the effort and the energy that you expended to bring this to pass, you were actually at a point where you've stopped. And like I said, yes, your energy is depleted, but you're really kind of in that moment where you're really thinking about everything that has transpired. You're thinking about what your thoughts were before this opportunity came across your path. You're thinking about what occurred as you took it and ran with it, and then also where you are now as a result of it. And I think this is tied not only with the Ace of Pentacles, that new opportunity, but also with the connections. Like I said, some of you, that strong connection you're feeling as a result of, or in some ways connected to that opportunity that you blazed with. And I just feel that physically, you're just taking a look around you and what's making up your current world, and you're really taking stock, and there's a sense of satisfaction because you feel that you've come somewhere. You may not be exactly where some of you want to be. Some of you may feel that there are some things you still desire, that you lack, that you want to go for, but what you've accomplished and what you've gained, where you're at now in comparison and contrast to where you were a couple weeks ago, there's a sense of satisfaction. You made something happen. You created a better, stronger foothold for yourself. And there's just this sense, like I said, there's a peace that has come as a result of it. And you know that there's still stuff that needs to be done, but you also feel that you can be happy. And I think that you're right. I do think that you should be satisfied with where you've come. And you should be allowed to take the time to pat yourself on the back and tell yourself that you did a job well done. Just don't let it go to your head, because you don't want to inflate your head so much that you don't see the next opportunity whenever that may come. Mentally, we have the Two of Swords. And I feel that this isn't current. This is something that's going to come up. There's something that's going to kind of disrupt this peaceful thought process, this sense of contentment. And it's not major, but I do believe that there was a reason why I said before I was finished with this card, don't let it get to your head. I feel that there's going to be some of you that are really going to settle into the pat yourself on the back and feed yourself and be very pleased and happy. And as a result of it, the slightest disruption is going to be unnerving, and it's going to kind of tip your peace a little bit, so that that contentment that you have mentally when you can take stock is going to waver a little bit as a result of that. So I do believe that this is just a forewarning to let you know, don't let it, like I said, don't let it get to your head. Recognize that, you know, you're still human and there's still some work to be done. You know what you still have to do, what you still desire, and what it may take to get you there. So don't get wrapped up too much in the successes, that you don't allow yourself space to continue on the work that you have started. Emotionally, we have some Seven of Pentacles reversed. And so with matters of your emotional status, there's some are going to be some disconnect. Something's going to kind of there's going to be a disconnect emotionally, and I'm not getting a clear picture as to what it is specifically. There's something you've been waiting for or hoping for, that this is, your patience is going to run out. You're tired of waiting. But whenever we get that kind of tired, it often makes us irrational. And so I feel that whatever it is that you've been biding your time regarding things of your heart, your emotional status, you're tired of waiting, but you're going to disrupt the flow as a result of it. And I don't know that this is necessarily relationship or heart, matters of the heart regarding a spouse or a lover, as much as just relationships on a general concept. So some of you, it might have to do with family members in general. I feel like this is more family related than anything. Not so much friends or close friends that you may consider a member of your family, but actual family members, but extended, not so much the immediate as far as spouses or siblings or no, as far as spouselings or children, but maybe more so siblings or the matriarchs, patriarchs of your family. But anyhow, there's going to be a disconnect of some sort. And there's going to be some irrational perceptions on your part because you're just tired of the games that surrounded the scenario. And I feel that a good many of you, it's going to have to do with inheritance. Whether someone is going to pass and there's going to be an issue involving inheritance, but I feel more of you, it's going to be more along the lines of someone has passed a long time ago and things are just tied up with legal matters regarding inheritance, and you're just tired of it. You're tired of the game. You're tired of the manipulation, tired of the waiting, tired of the nothing really happening, and tired of how much greed everybody is involved and wrapped up in versus the emotional aspect that you feel is being lost in the process. And so I feel that that's something that's going to come to a head. Some of you, I think, are going to just walk away. Some of you might have irrational outbursts if you're not very careful, and you're going to regret it much later. Maybe not immediately, but much, much later. But I feel some of you are just going to feel like you're ready to walk away. And a good deal of you might just feel that you are safe and rant to your spouse. But I feel like there's something regarding this is going to come to a head, and you're going to have your say so that you can feel better at peace and get back to where you can get back into waiting for this to kind of resolve, because it's not something that you really can have a hand in. Whatever it is you're emotionally tied to, but you don't have control over it. So you have to bide your time, and it's just wearing on you. You're tired of it. You're ready for it to be finished. So emotional status, I feel that that's something. And so, obviously that might not be with all Aries, but there are quite a few of you. I feel that something along this line, this is going to resonate with you. Spiritually, we have Nine of Wands, And I feel that there's some of you who come to a place where you are opening yourself and are ready to act upon some new spiritual concepts that you're coming across. You've come across maybe some YouTube videos that have made you reconsider how you believed, or maybe someone who you regarded as a spiritual mentor or inspiration has said a few things that have made you contemplate. But you're contemplating, and it's kind of creating a fire within you. You're really considering what this means and how you can apply it and what you can do with it. And it's going to create expansion, but you're still at the thinking stages of it. You want more research. You want to hear more. You want to listen to other perceptions regarding the specific portion and see how it sits with you, how it fits with your spirituality. See if it can indeed help you expand how you perceive things or matters of spirit. But you're definitely at a point where you're really considering how much this can contribute to your growth spiritually. And I don't think that that's going to change through the month. I think you're just going to be spending some time thinking, and I don't think this is going to consume your month either. This is going to be something that just is kind of in the back of your mind, on the back burner, but definitely not something you're going to dismiss entirely. It's just going to kind of every once in a while come across your radar. You're going to give it some thought, and you might have moments where you have time and you'll do a little more research, or you'll ask a few more questions. But it's not something that you're going to dive into. You're definitely not going to be expending the kind of energy that you expended on whatever that opportunity was at the beginning of the month. But it's going to be there. It's going to just kind of be fleeting in and out regarding your spirituality throughout the month of August. Your strength is going to be Knight of Swords. So your strength is going to be in your head. You being in control of your thoughts. You being in control of where you lead your thoughts. Being in control of how you allow your thoughts manifest externally, if you allow them to manifest externally. How you allow your thought to bring peace or bring irrationality, and not just within your thoughts, but if you allow them to externalize or not. Your strength is thinking this month. Your strength is taking the time to think, and I think that sometimes that can be a little tough for some of you. You would rather be a doer than a thinker. So this strength is not an easy come to you sort of strength. So it's something that you'll have to be mindful of doing. But I definitely feel that you will find great strength and power if you take the time to think. Think before you act. Think about what you're thinking. Think about where your thoughts are leading you. Think about how you can lead those thoughts so you can lead yourself to a different scenario or a different perception or a different externalized reaction or response to what your surroundings are. But definitely thinking is going to be a strength, and I think that's one of those things that a lot of you may have to work on. Not necessarily a strong point for you that comes easily, but definitely, like I said, I think it's more of a strength in the sense of a power. It will be empowering to you if you take the time to think this month. Possible obstacle is Nine of Cups, and this, I believe, is generally a happy card. But I feel that the one reason why it is considered an obstacle for you is that it shows the potential of becoming too content. And I think this refers back to that Nine of Pentacles and how I said in the beginning to watch where your thoughts, watch where they're taking you. Just to avoid from spending too much time patting yourself on the back and then therefore missing the opportunities that might come that follow what you've just accomplished. Getting too content is going to be an obstacle. And then, if you're getting too content, you're not in control of your thoughts, and then they kind of can control themselves. The next thing you know, your thoughts are controlling you versus the other way around. So you got to be careful. Sometimes peace is a good thing, and obviously most people strive for peace. But if you're too content, we get, as humans in general, we can get lazy and then we're not watchful, and we miss out on things. So your potential obstacle for the month is getting too content, and this is just getting content to the point where, you know, you're not watchful, you're not mindful. You know, you can be happy, content, and grateful for what you have, but just also make sure that you're not so content that you let it get to your head. So that's your potential obstacle for the month. Potential outcome for the month is Hanged Man. And ironically, despite all of what is listed here and what I've spoken about, it feels that what's going to bring on the potential of the Hanged Man, which is to have that moment of clarification that you reach when you've experienced some sort of enlightenment, having that really grand aha moment. I don't know how much it has to do with this one thing or a culmination of all of this, or if something's going to occur towards the end of the month and you're going to get stopped or stuck or halted. Something is going to come towards the end of the month, but as a result of it, it's actually going to force you to think. Whether you've spent the month thinking or not, you're going to be forced to think, and you're going to be forced to take on a new perception of your life. And some of it could be tied spiritually too. Might be some of the things that you'll be researching and what have you. But I feel like you're going to have a moment towards the end of the month, and this is most definitely towards the end of the month, where you're going to have this aha moment. There's going to be this clarity, undeniable clarity, and as a result of it, no matter how much you may have been struggling with, you know, feeling that peace mentally, that's going to flip that card back around. You know, you'll have a better grasp of balancing contentment versus getting so content that you're not watchful, not mindful of where you're at, not appreciative, not, because you can be content without being grateful. And I feel that you're going to have that moment where you're going to be content and grateful. You're going to be very, very aware of what you have, and very well aware of how fleeting what you have can be. So understanding that balance of contentment versus just being happy and not caring as much. And I do feel this is most definitely like the very last few days of the month of August. This has a potential of coming up for you. And, you know, the aha moment, I mean, I say aha moment, and I don't want to mislead you in thinking you're going to have this hallelujah moment where you feel like you could levitate if you thought hard enough. But sometimes it's not nearly as, you know, mind-boggling or big bang kind of perception like that, but for you personally it is, you know, that moment where it just clicks, you're like, oh yes. I feel that that's what you have a potential of having, and people who don't know you, and even people who do, they might not understand how this is all clicked, because it's going to be so personal and so individual, but it will help you end the month, no matter how much mental struggle you may or may not experience throughout the month of August. Towards the end of August, you're just going to reach that, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah. Hindsight's always 50-50. I get it now. So that's kind of how you have the potential of August coming to an end for you, coming to a close. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a card to kind of wrap up the reading, to kind of give you a little something to carry you as you go through the rest of the month of August. Like I said, this was kind of late, so let's see what we can pull for you from the color Mage. This will be just kind of a little something for you to carry as you work through the month of August. So anytime, if you can't reference this video, or you didn't take, you know, I don't know, maybe some of you do take notes, but you know, this can be that little something that you can carry as you go through August, so that it'll help to streamline some of those main thoughts for you. Dark Apricot, and this represents find the humor. So in all matters, find moments in which you can laugh, find moments in which you can create laughter, even when, obviously, when's appropriate. But you know, when times are tough and you don't think of think you can laugh. Find a way to find humor in the moment, especially when they're bogging you down, especially when they've got that Two of Swords and that peace internally in the mind flipped upside down. Find the humor in the moment so you can maybe help flip that card upside down. And just throughout the month as it carries you, just find ways to find humor in as you move through the month to kind of keep your keep your mind light, keep your heart light. All right, that is all I have for you, Aries. I hope you have a wonderful August, and hopefully I will see you in September.